I'm sorry.
Where are you?
I'm
What?
here. You
What's
found me. What the
happening?
hell?
I'm so confused right now. Okay, I'm gonna go.
This is your meeting. What the hell?
We're just
Okay.
waiting on people to get here. That's all. We're just patiently waiting for people to arrive.
I can entertain people. I can go get my cat and put the webcam. We can all look at a cat.
Oh man,
I've had my hand
I've
up
got a
for half an
laser.
hour.
I think we're good. Let's see. A termite walks into a bar and asks, "Is the bartender here?"
Oh
Ah,
fucking
I
god,
get it. I get it. I
That's
get it.
that stinks. That
man,
I get it.
stinks.
Good job.
man.
That
Good
was
job.
that stinks.
Good job. Good job. Dad
And then
jokes
you
is
got
what
That
it's
Killian's
about.
oh,
joke.
It's all
What's
about the
yellow
dad
when you
joke.
shouldn't drink it? A school bus.
Wow.
What?
But can you lick the windows?
True.
leave the
Nothing's
window
stopping you.
licking tonight. Thank you.
Gerald's walking into Burger Shot and Jerry asks, "Why the long face?" That's a good one. That was Jerry's joke.
I'd play the Jerry laughing soundboard, but soundboards are banned in here.
That is true. That is true. We've heard too much out of those
My fault.
soundboards already.
My fault. My
Yeah.
fault.
Yeah, everybody thank Hickory for not
Have you got the
having
My
knocking
fault.
one as well?
the what?
Yeah.
Oh, I got to show you the knocking one day. You'll love it.
We
You'll walk
hate it.
around your
That's
whole
why
house
they're banned.
looking for people.
That's why
Yeah,
they're
this
banned.
this
I
is
had.
this is why it's
Let me put
banned.
it this way. Let me put it this way. I did the knocking one, and then I had a message from Sai about 2 hours later saying, "Did you do a knocking soundboard? Because I walked around my house for like 2 hours to see if someone broke in."
That's so good. That's so fucking good.
Ah,
No, it's
all
not.
right.
When I'm being questioned, someone's at the door. Hold on. I'm like, what? What do you mean? Like, no, and then I finally heard it. I'm like, that sounds really eerily horrible.
Dylan, you can direct your anger at Hickory Guinness. That's Hickory space Guinness.
Yes.
All anger at the server can be directed towards Hickory space Guinness.
Come on, man.
I think
All
that's
right.
everyone.
It is 6:05. Let's go ahead and get started. First of all, thank you all for being here, making the time to be here. We appreciate you. We know that there's been a whole bunch of updates and changes, and obviously, every time there's an update, some things are going to break, some things are going to look awesome, and some things are going to need a little bit of tweaking. Um, that sounds like a drug reference. Anyway, um, there are some things that got changed, the things that we adjust. And remember what we tell you during this phase, nothing is forever. If we move something, if we change something, we wait for feedback. And if, all you guys agree that it can be a little better, we respond. It's just bear with us because as you all kind of said in the lobby, the economy is one of the hardest things to do in a regular server, but we're trying to go 1985. So, the math is a little bit more. So just be patient with it. It's not going to stay one way or the other forever. We hear you, and we're trying to do the best for the economy at this point. I know that a lot of you have been mentioning how it's hard to do the trucking job and all this stuff, but just keep in mind and remember that for here, the goal is role play. The goal is interactions. And I do understand that you guys want to make money and have nice things, but some people are up to like 20 cars. At what point, and I think we kind of talked about this at our other meeting. What point do you win? At what point is it? Are you satisfied? And not that you can't. You can have one or two or three cards or one of each or something. But the intention of you guys being here in this server in 1985 is for interactions, for stories, for just I don't know, being with each other. And I do, we all understand where you guys are coming from, absolutely, because we all play different parts and different characters. So we do hear you, but again, just be patient. We had a really good gang meeting on Tuesday, Wednesday, I don't know when, I don't remember when, but it was really great. It was positive. We heard feedback. We took the time to clarify the rules that were kind of misunderstood. That way we can all be on the same page. Our moderators were there too, so that way when tickets are opened, we all know what we talked about. The gang leaders are the ones that are going to be accountable for their group. So they are going to be careful about who they allow in their groups because that's just very important. And also, if you saw one of our requirements for gangs when they come in new to the city, they need to put in some time. They need to invest themselves here. So they really can't receive any of those perks like MLOs or custom clothing unless they've been here for at least 30 days. Because we want to make sure that people who are receiving support from us are really putting in the work like all of you guys, already have. So, we will show our appreciation, but you guys give us the feedback. If there is a new gang and you really like what they're doing, let us know. Doesn't mean they have to be nice, but if they're just providing really good role play, we want to know. So that would be really cool. And anything that about cost right now, if you guys are asking, yes, things are going to change because we just implemented today. So we have to see how it goes. We have to see how everything works. So is it going to stay? Like I said, no. And we're not going to have an answer for you whether something for sure is going to change or not. We have to let it lie in the community, and then we look at the data, we look at the money everybody's making, we look at the responses, we look at what you guys are saying, and those are the things that we look at before we make a change. We don't do it just because Jerry said something or because Nate has an idea. We really, really have to get a lot of data together before we decide, okay, this is what needs to happen, and this will help the majority of you. There are some of you that are not going to be terribly happy, but the majority of the server would be better. Um, so then we did that. And like Priya said earlier, just be patient with us because the update just happened. So give the devs time to fix everything. Again, the priority list is things that affect the whole server. Second in line is things that affect the businesses. Third in line is, everything else that is kind of quality of life stuff that we want to look at. So all of us jump in to help where we can with the developers, but we're few and they work really hard. So just remember that they need to be appreciated. And if you see them, give them kind words. Don't ask questions because they're probably overwhelmed. And just remember they're really doing this because, they like what they do. So let's keep it that way. Let's keep them liking what they do. Because really they're doing an awesome job. And there's still so many more things to come. So I mean, I don't even know how they do it, but good job, you guys. And also be patient with our mods because they're being really great with rules and answering tickets and, you know, helping educate the community. All of our us out here are honestly here to just support you and help you. So just just be kind and rewind, I guess. Um, I don't know if Sai is ready. Hold on a second. How do I?
If he's not ready, I can go on about my shit.
Babe, do you have anything?
I don't really have anything per se. I mean, I put everything in the update logs. I mean, if there's specific questions about specific things, I can answer them. One thing I do want to say about trucking is it's designed to be more realistic on two fronts. The first front would be where you pick up a complete truck with a cab. So you're just basically renting it, which we do not charge for, and you're just making a run. That is a little bit lower pay than if you were to buy your own truck for whatever, 120K, and then pick up jobs with your own cab, like you were running your own business. That pays more. So that's the goal, that's the design of it. And I'm sure people have questions about that, but we can answer them later. But I don't want to get into all the minutia of everything that was changed because there's a lot and it would take me forever.
Thank you. Nate, go ahead.
So we've gone from, just want to talk about heists, criminal stuff, this, that, the other. We've gone from update 1.35 to 1.50 now. There's a lot of new crime out there right now, and I want to go back now to the new ruling system. With the new ruling system, there is that 30-minute wait period between doing crime. This does apply to, there's been a few tickets about this, so I just want to state this to the public now. This does include all safes as well, so you can't go from jumping from safe to safe. This goes for scrapping is a little bit different. Those who have figured it out, there are illegal things to do at these scrapyards. Use your brain. That crime is the 30-minute wait period when it comes to doing your little scrap jobs at Sandy and all the other places that we've added in. That's still okay. Your stores, this, that, the other. Just do some planning in between. Again, there's a lot of new crime out there. There's plenty to discover. I'm not going to say what new crime it is. I'm not going to say what new heist it is, but they're out there. Drugs. I don't want to say how to sell drugs. I want everyone to figure that out. There is, if there's still issues when it comes to the crafting of drugs, with the new crafting of drugs, let us know in a ticket. Is the new mechanic script up and running? Is the new
We'll let
drug
Rupert.
mechanic
We'll
script
let
up and
Rupert
running?
talk on that when you're done. He could
Cool.
take.
That's them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep. If there's any issues when it comes to drugs, yep, raise a ticket. And if there is any issues with heists, please raise a ticket and tag me. I'll look into it straight away. There's a few things that as well have been reworked because a lot of people were making money off things where I missed a couple of values or accidentally added an extra zero to a value. Everything's been fixed. So you may notice a few of the dollar figures that you get are slightly less, but this is all to try and match the economy. That's all I have to say about heists and stuff.
So just touching upon two rules that would apply to what Nate said. The 30-minute rule. Remember that you're not to initiate any crime within that 30-minute window before or after. The point of that rule is so that people are not initiating a crime counting on the server restarting to get away, counting on that restart to, basically power game out of getting caught, or power gaming when the cops are not ready to go. That's what the rule is for. If you started something an hour ago and you still have to happen to be in the RP, I mean, just be mindful of what you're doing. um but the rules are for, it has an intended purpose, and it is, case by case basis, but you guys understand what the rule is for. Just kind of be smart about it, and you know what it means. So I just wanted to clarify that one. And then the other one that you talked about, what did you say? There was another
Which
thing that
one?
you said two things. You were talking about the drugs. I don't remember now.
Crime timer, the values of crime.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, exploits and bugs and all that stuff. The rule is that if you find an exploit, if you find a bug, you don't abuse it, you report it. If you use it and you don't report it, you're breaking a rule. If
oh,
we catch it and then we have to go back and, take money out or take the things out and you lose those things, we're not going to refund you for any of that stuff because that should have been reported. It shouldn't have been used, and you shouldn't have used it to make, all kinds of money. We look at that stuff like Nate said earlier. We look at the bank accounts. We see why they, made so much money. So just be mindful of it because we want to make sure that the economy works for everybody. Okay.
just
And I
touching on
just
that
have
as
a
well.
couple things real quick.
Go, mate. You first.
We will be bringing in crafting for mechanic stuff. That's just a little bit later. So that will be a thing. Hopefully, our goal here is that almost all mechanics are not uh, per se bought by a script, but bought by people in city. So, for example, farming, you'll be able to sell your stuff to restaurants. So instead of restaurants buying specifically from a guy standing at a store, they'll get it from farmers. Obviously, all this stuff depends on a higher pop and people that are actually doing the stuff, which is why we have two at the moment. And it'll be the same with mechanic parts. The crafting part of it will come into play um, when we can do that. It's just a little bit down the road. Second thing, um, just for everybody's information, if you get banned, put in a ticket. Especially over the next few days, we're bringing in a couple programs that help us with the DDoS attacks and with cheating. and that stuff needs to be fine tuned. So if you get a ban, don't get upset. Just send a ticket in. If it's something that we actually did ban you for, we'll let you know. And if it's not, if it's because of an AC that needs to be tuned, you'll get unbanned very, very quickly. So just to keep an eye on that, I just don't want anybody to feel like, oh, they banned me and then get all pissed off about it.
Touching
And
on
what he
two
means is,
things that's
sorry, before it's an automatic ban. If you get banned by our moderators because a ticket or a report was against you, that's different. Those are the regular bans. But he means if you get kicked out of the city with an automatic ban, let us know right away in case we have to adjust it. Go ahead,
so
Nick.
touching on two things they said. One of the first thing is exploits. There's a lot of new people in here. It is currently still an exploit. I'm not sure if it's still in there, but if you go up to a payphone and it says start selling drugs, do not click that. I don't know if it's been fixed, but that's an exploit at the moment. You will be banned if you are caught doing that. It's been announced in the announcements. It's 53 of you in here. I'm telling you now. Payphones are cool. Okay, well, if payphones come back and then they're there, do not call to sell drugs. That is an exploit. You will be banned.
Tell your friends.
Can I
Um,
can I mention one quick thing around the
yes, you can.
crime rules? So one of the new rules, if people caught it, is about hostage taking, and this is sort of a response to what we saw as a lot of Civ RP was being pretty greatly disrupted. And a lot of it was to do with people who are working jobs or specific high density areas were being taken kidnapped. And it wasn't like one time a month. It was like some people multiple times a day. Um, and what happens is we have a lot of fantastic role players in the community, and what they end up doing is they role play the consequences and like the psychological trauma of being kidnapped, which we really like. But it's getting to the point where their whole RP is being dictated by that. So also people really know each other a lot of the time. The server people have close connections, and we've thought a lot of the RP seemed kind of messy with kidnapping. So we introduced a new rule, and there's a new script that you can take locals for hostages, and this is for like a small 24/7 crime, right? Like you're robbing a store. You don't need to take someone hostage for that. The payout is little. It's a much smaller scene. That being said, you're highly encouraged to do that. This is just give civs a break, and that's why you saw the temporary rules around the hospital and government employees, because those people were facing the brunt of it. So just be very mindful that, especially as criminals, there are and like the repercussions that your RP has on other people. And yeah, look out for locals. Yeah, and like getting kidnapped is totally fine, right? So you're doing a big Fleeka job and you want to kidnap someone because it's a really big scene, it adds to the RP, or maybe there's someone um that you have your gang has something against, and it's like a nice way to you guys like start some conflict. That's super encouraged. It's just we don't want it to become such a rinse and repeat thing that the RP becomes low quality and it's just like, okay, let's ride around till we find someone at a post office, take them, go as quickly as we can, because that's when it becomes sort of rinse and repeat, and that's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to be a slow burn, serious server. So yeah, I just wanted to point that out. Think a lot about your actions, especially on civilians when you're doing crime work, and keep up the good RP civs. We love you.
And don't take, I just mentioned it in chat, don't take like 5-6 locals, because you can now to get like 5-6 demands. From just overseeing LSSD as well. LSSD will not give you 5 demands. You get like 3 demands at a max with hostages. So don't abuse it. Just please be mindful about that. Be smart about that. Just take what you need. Don't abuse. You don't need
And
to.
also to balance it, because you can now kidnap locals. Locals, if you hurt them, if you murder them, you're gonna get the same amount of prison time as you would if you did it to any player. So it
Local
is,
lives matter.
well, I mean, yeah, but be mindful. If you are driving and you're running over a local, that's illegal. You can go to jail for that. If we're gonna be using them to put them in those negative situations, then they want something back in return. So we had a compromise with the locals. So keep that in
Also, be
mind.
Also be aware that there is a percentage, there is a chance that a local is going to pull a gun and shoot you.
Low percentage, hopefully.
I can raise it if we need to.
Well, yes. Um, yeah. So I mean, you guys just overall, I mean, with the conversation that we had with gangs, a few days ago, we feel really positive that they're going to be able to steer the crime in the way that we want to see it on the server. With that said, the police force respond. You should respond equally with the same amount of role play, with the same amount of I guess planning and time. Let's try to stay away from all of us from being reactive role players. Let's plan out what we're gonna do. One of the big things is like, when you guys are planning heists and stuff, you gotta ask yourself, what's gonna happen after this? If I shoot somebody, what's gonna happen after? Because a lot of people just respond and react, and then the action happens, and then where does your RP go from there? You're not meant to be here for a day or a week or a month. Hopefully, you'll be here for a while. So, how is your character's life going to change because of the actions that you're taking? So, just keep that in mind when you're here. We want to have that very present instead of just being like, well, I'm just going to come in here, mess around, and fly out. Also, if you have friends that are flying in here just to work or just to do crime and then flying out, that's not what we really want in the community. So, talk to them and, steer them in the right direction because the better role players we have, the better, server we will have altogether. We talked about crime. Crime is good. Let's go with cars, Rupert.
It's party time.
Woof.
Finally, everyone, after I don't know how many hours testing, crying, rewriting the same script at least 7 times because I fucked up somewhere, we have the new mechanic system in, which is basically going to mean that we have full customizable items when it comes for performance. Um, we can create items, we can adjust them how we want, we can add the values to it how we want. So that is actually a really big step. And with that, there will be more legal and maybe a little bit less legal parts coming into the city. It's going to be a big storyline. Um, it's definitely a find out in character situation, but there's a whole lot of fun that we're going to bring into it. There will be another topic for the racing, but I'm going to leave that one for someone else. But yeah, there's a lot coming, and it will take a little bit of time because creating those items, setting it up, make sure that they're all balanced and everything. It's gonna take a long, long time. For example, we had a car which supposedly did 17 miles an hour. After I was done with it, it went over 90. It's hilarious, but a tractor, the old one, going over 90, that's not really realistic. So it needs the balancing out of it. Um, with that, a fair thing to say, just calm your minds. Old parts and old customizations should stick to your car. But we're never 100% sure. So if you notice, like, hey, things are not okay, I'm missing certain upgrades or anything, let us know, make a ticket, talk to your mechanic, because both Sparks and Aaron are up to date with the new scripts that we have. So they can help you out, and if they need help or they need any background things, they will ask us and they will let us know.
I don't think
That brings-
performance parts stuck on anything. That's my understanding.
Uh,
We might need to look into it more.
okay, then you need to ask Sparks for a very big favor, because that's actually the next thing we're coming to. Um, we've been looking into the community. We've been seeing how things were going, and Benny's was hands down absolutely overrun at multiple times. But as the old mechanic script went out, we lost a lot of the RP which went around with the mechanics. And that's the reason why we did the following. Hayes are going to be the mechanics. They basically do everything regarding your car when it comes to all the hardware parts. They're going to make sure that your exterior is properly, that your interior is nicely and clean. They repair your cars when needed. They can do roadside assistance. But from this day on, they're also going to do performance upgrades. So if you want that nice V6, V8 engine in, if you want to have that nice turbo in, you can visit the mechanic. And then you're wondering, okay, but why do we go to Benny's? Well, there's still a lot to do at Benny's because there are some special tuning parts that are only available for Benny's. And I'm gonna just put in a small hint like drifting tuning. The customization stays at Benny's. So basically everything what you want to change on the exterior of the car, but also a little bit of drifting, a little bit of tuning towards it, that's going to be at Benny's. So it's well split between those two. And then one final thing that I can add after all of this work, we're going to have new cars in. Yeah, the surface parts actually stay. Don't worry. You still have wearing on your car. You still will have an oil change. You need to change your tires. Suspension is a thing. I believe brakes are a thing as well. But with the feedback from what we had last times, it's upped a little bit. Like you don't need to be there every day or 2-3 days a week. It will be only once a week now. So hopefully it's a little bit better than it was before. Also, because of this script is actually a little bit more customizable when it comes to that part. Back to the new cars. I basically got my feet burned by a lot of complaints that there was a certain thing missing when it came to the new car pack. And those were the off-road trucks. So coming from today, and they should be implemented into PDM. Either they're already there or they're gonna be implemented soon. You're gonna have new SUVs. You're gonna have new off-road vehicles. And there are also some vehicles that are very neat to drive around with, but the police will definitely pull you over. Good luck, everyone. Have fun. If you have questions, you know where to reach us. Take it, Jesse.
Thank you, Rupert. Since we're still on kind of cars, Ophi, do you want to take information on racing a little bit? I mean, not
I, s-
everything, but hint,
I sure
you know?
do.
Mm-hmm.
My god, I'm so excited, guys. Yes, this is my real voice. I don't sound French or Irish in real life. Rupert is working so hard on making cars that handle amazing and delivering lots of new cars, and so it would not be right if we didn't have some kind of place to race them. For those of you who've been up to Toledo, there is now a racetrack up there. If you want to go and race legally, make use of it. There's a drag strip as well. We've got the underground racetrack too, and then I'm sure a bunch of you have probably met me or Archie in character and heard us talk at length about the underground race scene that we want to build. So to support that, there's 100% going to be illegal racing coming. I'm not going to tell you too much because I don't want to spoil it, but if you've done street racing on other 5M servers, then you'll be familiar with how it kind of works. It's going to be a little bit different. It's going to be more 80s. You're not going to have a tablet, but it's going to be awesome. It's going to be really, really cool. So watch the space. We've got that coming very soon.
Thank you. Another thing that I want to touch on is because we updated a lot of the rules, and I know that all of you, every single person in here went in there and read every single rule that we put in. So good job, guys. Medical RP is a big one. In the past, we had that rule of if you didn't get, medical in time, you would lose your memory. That was being abused so much, and it was, power games. So now it is up to you whether you lose your memory or not. So if you are thinking that you're gonna do something to somebody, think about it really hard because they will remember. They can't come back right away, of course, if they got hurt or injured. They have to play out their injuries, but we're not forcing anybody to forget things because when it can't be enforced too, again, people were just abusing that system and we don't want to see that. So just make sure that you keep that in mind. With that also said, our EMS is going to be checking for people that consistently are getting really bad injuries and coming in and out of the hospital within like 30 minutes or an hour. You know, you have to value your life. That is one of our rules. Your life is valuable. So if you're getting 15 shots in your body and you're coming into the hospital and telling, Dakota, I just need a band-aid, is that really valuing life? Is that really, serious RP? Think about it. And then again, that's why we say plan your actions, really plan out your story, because if you're getting hurt, you need to come and, play out your injuries. It is very important that you keep that in mind, because we are watching for that now. It is in the rules. And then Dakota, do you want to talk a little more on that one or add anything to it?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think you covered it. People, they just know that you do have the option to forget what happened. Like, it's just not going to be forced on you. So if you do want that role play of, oh, I don't know who it was or whatever, that's fine. Like, you don't have to feel like you have to remember everything. I think that's an important distinction. It's now your choice, not the other player's choice to be like, oh, I shot him in the head. And I'm going to make sure they don't get seen by an EMS by hiding the body or whatever. That can't happen anymore. So it's all going to be based on choice. Yeah, and scuff happens. We all know it. Ejecto seats happen in the cars due to people's bubbles or who you're riding with, all that. And that's fine to an extent. But yeah, we really want to use medical role play as kind of like a pacing mechanic for yourself. I think is the best way to think about it. Is like, okay, I've been running around, I've been doing crime, or I've been doing stuff all day long, and I got injured. Um, Realistically, I wouldn't be walking out of here 100% okay. We're not going to force you to be in ICU for 3 days. We're not going to force you to be even in the hospital for longer than it takes to treat you, but limp out. If I just placed a broken leg, try to remember that your leg's broken and don't hop in and drive a car or ride a motorcycle away. We're also going like all the EMTs are really good about like offering rides most of the time too if we're not super busy, in terms of like, oh, I can take you somewhere because I don't want you walking. So just keep that in mind. And if you don't know what kind of injury you want to role play, a lot of us are really we're trying to be really good about being open ended with our questions. So it's a lot of you got down by this, so I'm going to check for external injuries, what I can see, and if it's a laceration or a cut on the leg, I'll usually ask, okay, is it muscle damage? How deep is the cut? How long is it? And that can kind of help guide you in terms of like, oh, I want it to be a surgical recovery. The muscle got damaged. It's not just a surface cut. Or when people break their legs, a lot of times you'll see me take them in the X-ray room, and then I'll be like, all right, is there a fracture? Is it a line, an aligned break or a misaligned break? Those are three different types of breaks in your bone that can have three various or three variations of healing process to it. So, we're going to try to help you out. So I don't want people to be nervous about medical RP. If you have any questions, you can always feel free to open a ticket and ask us about, hey, I want to do this injury or something like that. Or, even come by the hospital in character and be like, hey, I hurt my arm and I want to get it rechecked. We love checkups. We love when people come in and want to follow up on injuries. But yeah, those are really the main things.
And Kai asked, like, what if someone doesn't know much of medical RP to match that of you guys in EMS?
Yeah, so that's fine. I know myself and Ray, Jesse, Fanny in the chat, and Stephanie, like a lot of us that have been doing this for a long time, will help you out as much as we can. Just don't leave it 100% up to us, because that makes us feel awkward. If it's like, whatever you say, doc, if you're slash meing, I don't know what happened to me, you pick, that's usually a little iffy on our end because we don't want to force anything. But we can always adjust to your skill level. I know Ophi comes in and she'll run me through the ringer sometimes. And I've been doing this for a long time, but she'll go full out, oh, have you like lung resectioning, and everything like that. I was like, oh, I got to really think about this. But then we also have players that are new to it and just will say, "Hey, I broke my leg." But like I said, when I'll give you options, and usually I'll verbally say what the treatment for each one of those options is, and then we can go from there. So I do really try. You just got to give me the slimmest baseline of what happened to you, and we can go from there. And we'll help you and we'll adjust, and we don't get frustrated easily because you don't know what you're doing, what the correct terminology is.
And there's another question. And this was kind of like a general. If you're in a firefight, your buddy goes down, you have to get him out of there. You get to the hospital. There's no EMS, and they're upset you didn't call EMS for illegal active firefight.
Call them once you get there, right? The thing is you don't want them on scene so the police don't come. Also role play if you're moving someone who's critically injured and you're not EMS professional, try to patch them up, put in that RP, and also RP that maybe that hurt them more, the fact that you didn't call them on scene. But once you get to the hospital, try to call them and give them a grace period to come, so at least they get a call there. And then if there's truly no one online, you can use the locals.
Yeah, and you can also always do /311. But know that like if there's an illegal gunfight, right, and you don't want the cops showing up, the cops already know about it. Like they're going to get notified of it. If a person goes down and you hit the EMS button, we'll show up. We will sometimes communicate with PD about like if 3 people go down in one area. But a lot of times, like you don't have to worry about EMS selling you out to cops either. Like we're neutral. So if we're treating you and there are no cops like in the hospital or anything like that, we're not going to call the cops and be like, "Hey, this guy, um, I can't see what's in your pockets, but like, hey, this guy came in with 3 gang members. They're all shot to shit. You should come down here and look." Like, that's not what we do. We're going to treat you and get you on your way. If the cops show up because they know there was a gunfight and pillbox is one of the places they'll check, we can't do much about that. But EMS is not going to rat you out to the cops unless you're coming after EMS.
Can I hop in on one of the questions I just saw real quick?
Sure.
Because yes, Nate, we are seeing that. So if Doc tries to pull the bullet from the GSW, do a /try, the bullet comes out without any tissue damage. Technically, and we're still working out some more details on that. There is a script which basically gives the EMS an indication about what's going on with you. It's not really specific, but if you have been shot, they actually have the option to pick a tweezer and take out the bullets. But that's a little bit in the line of it's going to be slightly forcing RP because the system literally tells like you have a bullet in it. If you're honest with your medical RP, it should not be a problem. If you're trying to get around with it, absolutely fine. But it is something that we actually looking into, like, okay, what options do we have and how can we fine tune it to the point where it can assist the EMS with the things that actually happened. Just a few examples. The gunshot is a thing, so they need to put out a gunshot. If you have a deep cut and you're like, because you flew through a window, landed in glass, whatever, they actually need to surgery you. It's all stuff like that. If you have big bruises, you're going to get an ice pack to actually patch you up. So there are definitely some things incoming for it.
Yeah, and just to add to that, if any of you have also interacted with Ray over, I believe it's the last 4 or 5 days, when I'm taking a little bit longer, it's because I am using the new script. I'm not using it to force anything. I do guide with it as well. So if someone's like, "I'm unsure, but it seems like you've got a bit of a bruise or a cut," it's like, "Oh, there's a little bit of dried blood," or "Ooh, this looks a little bit painful around here," to try and not just help you guys out, but also then it helps with the script and everything else. Heck, even sometimes I've let somebody do their full RP. I do the check. They are going, "Oh, we've got blunt force trauma. They want ice pack, but they've actually got a bleed." But I RP it out correctly as they are intended, because again, we're not here to force your role play for your injury. We're here to treat and guide, because last thing you want is us to actually force what your injury should be from what we see.
Thank you guys. Good questions on medical. With that, somebody asked if it's okay to come and do illness RP. Of course. I mean, they're doctors. It's a medical building. Yes, you should be doing medical RP. Again, let's not just stick to being reactive. Let's think about a story and play it out. Don't have it in your head. EMS are just here to come get me when I'm down. That's not what they're here for. They're here to be EMS, play out a story of EMS. So give them something to work with. They'd appreciate it. I mean, that's why they're here. Nobody signs up for EMS just to drive out and pick up people. I mean, it really gets boring. So if you give them something to do, I'm 100% sure that they're going to work with you. With that said, service, the city, we as staff, we're here to enforce all the server rules. But what happens in the city, the way the city evolves, that is up to the community and yourself. City council is having a voting again. You want to look at the constitution. You want to look at the laws that we have. You want to make changes. That's where you got to be. Because we don't have a say in that. We don't. I mean, unless you are a city council member, but we don't. We really want you guys to be active, be part of the community, be part of the city council meetings, be a council member. We're going to have elections soon. You could even be a mayor, if you wanted to. You're not limited on what you can do as long as you want to try it. Pretty soon, we're also going to implement the bail system, which Judge Harris has been working really hard on. And it's going to make it a lot easier for people to just do the um, court RP, which would be really great. Again, people that are doing these city services that are very necessary for the city need something to RP with. So if you're never calling for a lawyer, if you never want to go to a trial, I mean, we're not going to have lawyers and we're not going to have judges because there's nothing for them to do. So honestly, like if you're getting arrested pretty soon, if you get arrested, the police will not be allowed to reduce your fines. They cannot do it no matter what. So if you're getting arrested and you have a fine or you have jail time, the only person that can reduce that for you will be your lawyer. That's the way to do it because you know there's a legal way, and honestly, cops should not be the ones that get to judge how much time you get because as much as they could reduce it, they could also increase it, right? And that's not really fair. So we want you guys to have a fair trial, have a good system, give the lawyers some work to do. And also, if you ever thought you wanted to be a lawyer but you're a little bit intimidated, they will be having classes at the university because we really want more lawyers. We really want them to join in. So if you wanted to see, okay, what is this about? How can I do it? Go. I mean, go when they post it up because they really want to teach. They really want you guys to do it. And all the RP is fun. You guys have 3 character slots for now. One could be a lawyer. Try it out, see how that works. So, I mean, there's a lot of things to do. I think most of the people that are working those city jobs, the government jobs, we want to make sure that they get staff and they're happy to train you. They're happy to help you come in and be successful at the job. So, I mean, just think about it that way. We're really excited about the bail system. I think it's going to bring a lot more RP to the courts. But if it does, we need more lawyers. More lawyers. We need, district attorneys. We need our court system to be up and running to handle these cases. And then with that, the prison that came in will have a lot more activities for you to do. So if you are getting those longer sentences, because again, if you're going to do the crime, think about the time. So there are more things for you to do at jail. So you're not just kind of sitting there waiting for the time to run out. Did you want to give more information about the jail? Anybody who knows about the
Mm,
jail?
You mind if
I
I
can.
jump
Because
in real
I've
quick?
never been there.
Go, Bryce.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, I just wanted to jump in on the law RP. I just want to give a quick shout out to all of the current DOJ people that work very hard, and do a lot of uh, put in a lot of time and effort to continue to make the DOJ run, like Amber Chaser and which is NorCal and uh, Chief Justice Harris, who's mainly Salmon, and the private lawyers like Alfie. All these people continue to work to, provide this service, and we want you guys to come bring us cases, no matter how big or how small. We want to fight. We want to hash it out in court, and we want to make stuff happen. And I'm super excited for the bail system that's coming. It's gonna really, really drive that that sort of RP, and it's going to be a good time because it's going to be uh, getting us quickly through that process of court RP from starting the case to getting your day in court and getting, you know, your case heard. And if anybody wants to become a part of this DOJ or the law system, you have a lot of different options. Uh, you can be in the public defender's office. You could be a paralegal at first if you don't feel comfortable, and learn. You could be a public defender. You could be a prosecutor or a paralegal for a prosecutor. You could even apply to be a judge or a magistrate, or either or. Um, and if you don't want to do any of that, you can always go private. There's so many different avenues you could take in law. It's not even funny. There's so many different services you could offer too. Anything from, I mean, I've done wills, I've done, writing contracts for people, all sorts of things. There's so many different things that you can do or specialize in. So if you're looking to do that sort of RP, or if you're really into paperwork RP, if you're just as crazy as we are and like paperwork, uh, think about applying in character and see where that RP takes you. Okay. But we need more lawyers, and we need more people to help drive this system, and most importantly, we need the community to utilize this system and uh, and see where the RP takes you.
Yes, again, if you want to see change in the city, if you want to see change in the laws, get involved. Nothing is stopping you guys from speaking out, getting involved. I've seen some great legislation come through, and it's basically for you guys. So if you don't like what's coming through, step up and create your own legislation. Hopefully it gets passed. With that said, we talked about the law, we talked about medical. Again, we had a really great gang meeting. I think we understand that as much as we need police, we need medical, we also need gangs. It's a whole ecosystem, right? But if the gangs are holding each other accountable for their RP and they understand what the intent of crime here, then when new gangs come in, they can also support them and kind of build them up and make sure that we are all, kind of going towards the same goal. With that said, Nate, did you want to talk a little bit about something, the gang meeting part?
Yeah, no, I can talk about the gang meeting
Nate?
part. So,
Uh,
there's we had the gang meeting yesterday with all the heads of gangs. Most of the gangs now should know what to do and what not to do. It's pretty easy. What did I want to mention? One thing that we did come to the consensus of, that's right, is there are headshots, one hit headshots in the server. You get hit in the head, you go down. There are helmets in there that prevent this. Not a rule break, but the gangs have come to a general consensus that we shouldn't be using this. Again, I want to stress it's not a rule break, but don't use it. If you, it is a bit of power gaming. It is to stop it. I can understand if you're a cop and you're in SWAT, like which is what the LSD is trying to do, and you've got some bulletproof helmets on. If the role play is there for it, yeah. But I don't see gangbangers having bulletproof helmets and stuff. I can see them getting bulletproof vests because you can get those bulletproof vests. But when it comes to helmets, gangbangers aren't going to have bulletproof helmets. Like just to whip them on at a store. Um, there are helmets that aren't bulletproof. There are helmets that are just visually basically just hats. We're trying to work out what are bulletproof and what aren't bulletproof. When we do get to that point, which is a lot later down the track, because as we stated earlier in the meeting, we have many more fixes that we need to do first. When we get to that stage, we'll take out the bulletproof helmets. But until then, the general consensus, yeah, just don't use those bulletproof helmets. Whack a hat on instead, put a backwards cap on. It's the 80s, be hip, be funky. What's the words? Who's older than me here? Who was around in the 80s? What's the word for it? Be one of them. Groovy. That's it. It's
Yeah, and then
groovy. It's
again, the
groovy
rule.
to wear
That's the 60s. That's the 60s.
There we
So
go.
again,
Groovy.
it doesn't mean do not wear helmets. It doesn't mean don't wear them. It just means if you're going to be in a shootout situation, do not wear the helmet to give you an advantage. That's what the rule is. It's not don't ever wear helmets. It's not, go biking without a helmet. No. If it's for your RP, it's perfectly fine. Just don't use them for shootouts. And I think that if you're in a gang, you already know that and we don't have to tell you. There you go. It's bitchin'.
It's big.
He came in with the word. Yes, tubular as well. Totally tubular. I had something else. I forgot it now because you guys sidetracked me. But we talked about the law. We talked about everything. I think we've covered most of the new things that are coming in. We are not going to talk about clothing yet because our first priority now that we got this going, once this gets all up and going, is Dynasty 8. We want to get you guys into homes. We want to get you guys situated. Start getting you guys a permanent location. So that's are going to be our next big focus, and of course keep fixing the things that are kind of not working. But clothing is still a little bit in the future, but not that far. Again, because we
E-
have a deadline of when we want to open for everybody, so it's not that far away.
Except for nails, that was important.
Oh yes, there's a new nail shop, and you can get your nails. And if you get your nails done, it does not affect any of your clothing. You can keep them on as long as you want to, and it doesn't take up any of your clothing slots. So right behind the hospital, the street that's behind the hospital, there's a nail shop, and you can go and get your nails
It's
done.
unisex. Yeah, everyone
Yes,
can get
boys and
nails
girls.
too.
You can pick the length, you
You
can
want to
pick the
get your
Y-
colors.
nails did? You want to look? You want to look pretty? You want to look pretty for that shit? Yeah, it's time. It's
And then
time.
with that said, what's going to be similar to that is a tattoo shop. We're also looking into having a custom tattoo shop coming in too, so that you have more freedom as to what
You'll
your
actually
tattoos
have
look
tattoo artists.
like. And they can design them for you. They can put them on you. It'll just be a lot more, give you a lot more of that uniqueness that your character needs. So we are looking into it. We hear you guys, and we're slowly but surely bringing in um things to support your RP. I don't want to hold you guys here forever, so let's make some time to ask a question. Now, keep your questions kind of general, like server related. If there's something wrong with your business right now or your car, like things that are individual, open up a ticket. But if it's server related questions, feel free to ask them. And then also, again, we just talked over the rules. I think we're all on the same page as them. But if you have a question about that, feel free to bring it up. We're happy to hear from you. So just again, if it's an individual thing, open up a ticket. But this is a community meeting, so let's keep all of our discussions applying to the whole community. Who
I'll
would like?
monitor the hands as well.
Yeah, who? Oh, if you want to say anything or bring something up, please raise your hands, and
All right,
we'll pull
Frankie,
you
you're
up.
up first, mate.
Hey, so I've heard a lot of people share their opinions on this. Uh, is there anything changing for PDM? Because I've heard a lot of people say that like it should at least be unlocked by default so people can check the catalog or stuff like that, and it not opening. Because I've heard a few people also say, well, it's because people aren't applying, but I've also heard in City that a lot of people have been applying have not received like letters back either.
Yeah, with PDM, the reason that the doors cannot be unlocked is because if you come in, and say you talk with a dealer that can't order the cars, or you put a PO in and say order a car, if your car gets delivered, when someone comes in, they could just buy your car. They don't have to wait. They don't have to put an order in. If it's in stock, they could just buy it. So you'd possibly be waiting for your car forever, or you have to be there when you get it. So we prefer that you're there with the dealer so they can get you the car, and it takes about 10 minutes to get it, so it's not a big wait time. The hiring thing, we have to be really cautious about it because, as you know, this is one of those jobs that makes a lot of money. It could easily be, taken advantage of, so we're really careful with it. What I've seen so far in the bulletins is that it has been open at least at a certain time frame, but not enough. So we are aware of that. I do have a couple people in mind to hire, and also keep in mind that we're opening the off-road dealership. We're opening up the what other ones, honey?
We're
I don't
opening
remember.
up another car dealer, an off-road car dealer, and a
Classic
motorcycle
Toledo.
dealer.
motorcycle dealer.
Yeah, so that we have competition.
So there'll be more options and hopefully more people taking the job. But again, we're looking for people who have been here for a while in the community because it's a job that can easily be exploited. And then exploiting that job is going to be a federal offense. It's a permanent ban. It's just one of those things like Dynasty 8, you know?
Mhm.
A lot of money is there to be made, and it really unbalances the economy if there's just a certain number of people making all that money.
Mhm.
But we'll look into it, and especially because we were working on this update, you know, like some things take a back seat, but we'll have a lot more time to look into those things.
All right. Yeah, no,
Thank
because
you,
a
though.
few
Yep.
people,
Check
I've heard had
check that
opinions on it.
bench.
So
Well, say it again. I missed it. Okay, we'll take care of the PDM. What did you say, honey? I didn't hear you.
Nothing. Sorry, I was
Okay,
doing something else.
okay. Um. So yeah, good point about PDM. Like I said, keep an eye on the bulletins. They're gonna be opening, and we're just kind of looking for um community members who have been here a while and could understand the responsibility that that job takes. Um, any other questions? No one has their hands up. No one has anything. Oh, there we go. Here's one, two. Yay. Okay,
I'll get them
Mateo,
up. You got
grab
them
them
there. There we go.
already. Yeah. Welcome to the conversation.
All right, hello? Okay. Can you guys hear me? I wasn't
Am
sure
I?
if this
Yeah.
is okay. No, I have a question, a little bit about the criminal stuff, and this is a question that I know for sure. That I thought of it in like previous cities and before. What if we introduce a way, like a certain safe word to individuals out there if we're finding like, let's say hostages that actually wants to do? Because I been on both sides, like as a good noodle and a bad noodle, because yes, there's times that's hard to get an actual person to take it, but at the same time, though, I want to see if possible, if we can introduce a certain saying or a certain word to people to understand, like a code word to them to let them know, hey, like politely, do you want to do like, oh, let's say for a pizza party or so on and so forth, like, do you want to be the pizza of the main cheese, like a certain code word and stuff to let them know, hey, this is what it means. Do you want to become a hostage willingly and not like forcibly? And that will kind of, like I said, it's a thing that I'm thinking of to help kind of balance it out and have the people's permission, from their perspective and be like, oh, no, forcing willingly and so on and so forth. Like, I don't know if that can be implemented or like a suggestion, I'm saying. It's something to help, think of it. But like I said, it's just one question that I have for that specifically. And like I said, it's something that I wanted to introduce or maybe kind of go for it. But like I said, it's just there to ask.
It's a suggestion.
Hmm.
Um, and honestly, I'm
May
gonna
I?
tell you, I've had that same suggestion because I'm very, and again, I'm not crime centered. I'm not a cop. I'm very civilian centered, and I'm always like a bleeding heart. Like they're getting hurt. Like what do we do? But the thing is, there are going to be a small percentage of people who are going to be honest about it because maybe they got kidnapped twice that day and they just don't want to be kidnapped a third time. But what we will mostly see, and I guarantee you, is people just trying to not RP with you and not go get kidnapped because they're doing something else. And does that really fit in with a realistic RP server? I mean, part of living in Los Santos is there's crime. Be aware of your surroundings. And also because we implemented the hostages, the locals down, there should be a great reduction of people taking you just for a petty crime. If there's going to be a big bank heist and it's going to be a big scene, of course that's going to be good with a real hostage because then you could add to that RP. But criminals also keep in mind that again, when you finish that bank robbery and you leave the hostage there, that hostage is going to remember that incident and it's going to affect how they RP from that moment on. So if something traumatizing happened, they're going to remember and they're always going to be afraid of whatever happened to them. If something, they got hurt, think about it that way. Like if that were to happen to you, what happens after? And a lot of you guys forget. After your scene is done, there's still more. It just keeps going because it's a life. It's not just a level. You're not just playing one level or one scene. There's more. So just if you're gonna take a hostage, be mindful of what you're doing. Of course, don't take your friends. Don't, have anybody pretend to be a hostage because that is against the rule. And as much as I would like to implement that and say, okay, we have a safe word, there'd be a lot more people abusing it. And the fact that they just don't want to RP, and the amount of tickets. I mean, and that's the kind of idea that I had. But looking at it realistically, when we make rules and when we make these things, is so that they're so basic that everybody can follow them easily without us having to go into the gray areas. It's black or white. Did you or didn't you? And we don't know the intention. You'll never know why somebody said a safe word. Did they really mean it? Did they not want to RP? We can never figure that out. So it can't be something that we can implement. A rule that we put in has to be observable. It has to be really black and white so that we can take action. So when we put in rules like those that are very subjective, we're even going to disagree, right, on the outcome because we're all going to see it a different way. And that's why we have people with all kinds of different backgrounds in our staff, because we do want everybody to look at a different way, but the rules are very black and white. Um, so again, I would like to, but but I think as a criminal, if someone says, "Oh my God, not again," that kind of gives you a hint that they've already kind of had enough. Up to you, but I think sometimes they will kind of let you know, like, you know, I've kind of had enough of it. If you're with the gang and yesterday you kidnapped Sai, and then your friend wants to go do a bank robbery and you go again as a gang and you kidnap Sai. I mean, no, don't. Pick someone else, do other things, and don't pick on the same people. Don't think like, oh, they're an easy target, let's just go get them. Don't, expand your horizons and interact with new people. Don't stay in your little bubbles. Go out and, you know, meet new people. But good question. Good suggestion, Mateo. I would say in Spanish, but yeah, that's something that I also thought, a safe word, but things get easily misused. Next one is Cody. Did you pull him up? Did I pull them up?
Yeah, he's been pulled up.
Okay.
Who's waiting on him?
All right.
Cody, wake up. Stop playing guitar.
Get off that goddamn radio, unmute yourself. Come on, my man. It's showtime.
Oh, no. He's good, I think. Is he up here?
I
He's
think
up
he
there,
is. I
but
saw him
he's
join.
He's just
still
finding that
muted.
mute button.
He's muted.
Let me. No, he's not muted on our end.
Your personal mute.
He's on
All
personal mute.
right, we're gonna have to start singing until he gets here. Then I'm sorry, everyone.
You can't torture people without a ticket, Priya.
Oh yeah, new real
Open
change.
ticket. This is a live ticket process.
Yeah, Cody, you're muted on your end. I can't unmute you because we don't.
This
At
just
this
in from the Chief
moment.
Justice. Get your
Oh,
there
instant
he is.
expungements now.
Here he is. Here he is.
Hold on. There he
Got
is.
you.
Come on, Cody. You can do it.
You can do it. You can do it. Say it with your chest.
Stage fright.
This is the moment where we all figure out that he's secretly just on the toilet and somewhere like trying
Oh,
to wipe
no,
his butt.
no.
Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come
I
on.
think,
Shut
I
up,
think he's
Rupert.
just shy. I think he's just shy, and he doesn't know what to say.
Poor Cody. He's not a
No, he's
public
trying to
speaker.
figure out the most punk way to say this.
Burst out in a
But let me
song.
answer this question thing. For crime, the 30 minutes, is it per group or per person? For example, if I hit a safe, but I have my friend drive me away, then he hits a safe a couple of minutes later. Is that breaking the rule of 30 minutes between crime, or is it fine because I hit one and he hit one? Yeah, it is breaking the rule because you're doing it as a group. So if you're doing it individually, it's breaking it, and if you're doing it as a group, it's breaking it.
But you can
You're not
split
gonna be
up.
able to do. Yeah.
You couldn't be in the same scene, right? Because
Yeah.
a cop could come. You could all like it could that one small safe. The intention, right, is it could create a big RP scene. So we don't want people to just sort of try to skip scenes and chain rob like that.
If you're thinking about it and you're like, could this be a loophole? Just don't do it. Like
or make a ticket.
Or make a ticket. Yeah, it's if you're trying to think about it like, oh, well, what if I did this and this? Then if you have to think about it, it's probably a rule break. Like or make a ticket. Yeah, but don't try to find loopholes, right? Because you're still going to get got if we have to.
While we wait for Cody, I also want to mention one other thing. And this is something we talked about as staff recently. I hear about people in character complaining about rule breaks 10 times more than I see tickets coming in. Please, please, please have Metal, OBS, or something record your sessions and file player reports. It is not helpful for anyone or constructive when you tell people in server that people broke rules. It is helpful when you report it. Our goal as staff is to not punish. It is to educate and improve the overall roleplay of the server. If something is so egregious or if people aren't putting in the work to improve the roleplay, of course punishment will happen, but our number one goal is to always educate. Also, don't complain to staff in city about rule breaks. Make a ticket. It's the way that it gets dealt with. I like
Also,
to think
if
that we
it's
can prove to y'all that we do a good job when we get information provided to us. So this is if you haven't done it for the rest of this meeting, go download Metal. Do it right now, please.
and if it's really egregious, there is an in game, and you can't leave the city or whatever, or open to Discord. Like there is an in-game report function that we do keep track of as well. But that's a little bit harder to include clips and stuff on. That's for like if somebody is RDMing multiple people, you know, and they're still in the city, then we can find out that way. But there is an in
Or
city
you're
report as
stuck
well.
somewhere
Yeah,
and
or
you
you're
just
stuck
need
somewhere.
admin to
Yeah,
take
The
it
big
out.
one.
And then with
Can I
that
go?
same thing with the staff, you guys know we have staff that are RPs in the city. Respect their RP too. If they're in a scene, if they're doing something, even if they're there just fixing things, they have something like on a schedule to do, so they can't always stop and help. And they shouldn't be answering server questions because that's not who their character is. If they stop and answer server questions for you and you ask them a server question, you're basically breaking a rule because you're talking OOC. So you should not be coming over, complaining to staff, because if you complain to them, there's nothing they can do. There's nothing they can do because they can only action on a ticket. So all you're doing is kind of just venting, but there's not going to be any action taken. So if you really, really want that you're the staff, they're here, they're all very, very open and listening to you. And I'll repeat again, if there is a ticket that you need to make and you do not want the staff to see it, you can use the management outreach ticket, because that one goes directly to me inside. We read all the tickets, no one will see it. So you don't have to worry about, oh, if I open a ticket, so and so will see it or it'll be biased. No, that's not how it works. So we want to give you guys enough avenues of communication. You could never say you didn't know how to talk to any of us, because we're here. We're all here, but we're here in the server. When we're doing RP, we're doing RP. And then just to piggyback off of that with the SBA, sorry, I don't know why I'm dying now. One, we are not really focusing on new businesses that are not brick and mortar businesses, because we had to get those open first. So if you have ideas, and we're not getting back to because we don't have the ability, or the focus right now, because we're doing all these updates to do that at the moment. It doesn't mean it's a no, it just means it's a not right now. But also know that our standard is that one player gets one business. If you have three characters, you cannot own three businesses. It's you're one player, you pick your character, and that character can own a business, but that's it. Once you own a business, you can apply for another one. If you do want to start a new business, then you have to give up the current business, because we can't just have one person. There's a lot of players here, and a lot of players want to do things, and there are um, places available still for lease that are already in the city that you can apply for. So when we're slow on certain POs and we're not answering certain things, is because we're just not ready to do it yet. And then be patient, because again, the SBA doesn't have regular hours. And that's more for us to get businesses set up. So just kind of keep that in mind. And again, one business per person. That's basically how it goes. Did somebody else have something to say?
Yeah, I've got one more thing to add. I
Yeah,
want to go
Cody
back to
has
the
something to
safes.
say.
Is he
Yes,
saying
sure.
things now?
That's fine. I can
Oh,
I can
is
wait.
it?
It's cool.
Oh yay!
You first. No, you first. You've been here. Go, bro.
All right. All right. No, I have a comment and a question. Comment. I'm just wondering. Can I please explain to people how this radio thing is going to work tomorrow? Because it's going to be really hard to do it in city.
Go for it.
Yes, please go right
Exactly. Yes.
ahead.
Okay. Good. I
Meta
just
your
wanted
life.
to make sure.
Meta it away.
I'm metaing everything. No, first of all, I just wanted to say thanks to all you guys for letting us do this, and we worked really, really hard to get this up and going, and I think that it's going to be working. Starting at 1 a.m. today, and then or tonight, I guess, Eastern. So figure that out, guys. Um, but and then it should just be every 4 hours. It'll just repeat, so everyone can kind of hear it in city or out of city, depending on how you want to do it. But I'm going to post the link in the Rebel channel. So keep that, keep watch for that. And then I will post it in CD as well, everybody. It will work in your cars. It will work in your boom boxes, but it will not work on your work boom boxes. So sorry about that. That is not my fault. And that's really all I wanted to say. If you have any issues, please let Cody or Riley know in the city, and they will fix it ASAP. Hopefully, it will work. And that's that. And so now I have my question. And this is not very important, but I'm going to ask because I've been asking since January. The shared emotes, is that something that's going to get fixed at all? Because I keep missing people trying to do things with me, and it makes Cody look like a bad man because he always ends up ignoring his friends and he can't see the little dialogue at the bottom left of the screen. So I'm just wondering.
All the emotes are on our
Yes.
list of things to get fixed and adjusted, including the little prompt where the prompt shows up. Because I'm assuming that's what you mean is like, yeah, the prompt is like hidden behind the map and your health and or your thirst and hunger gauges. Yeah.
Yes. That's
Sorry,
it.
Yes, they're all getting
Thank you.
proper names, and they're all getting proper names, and then also, so that you can always see them and accept them. So thank you, but
And
it is already
actually,
on the dev list already.
hold on, because there's
Rupert and
another
I
one.
are working on a new HUD also that you could move around. So
So the time that everything overlaps is going to be gone. It's going to be a time period where we're going to have a HUD which is, for one, not that greatly intensive, because the current HUD takes a lot of your resources away somehow. It will be a little bit different. I'm sorry for the people who really like the neon style. We'll try our best to make something similar, but it's time for something new and something that you guys have more profit of, like moving around different parts of your HUD, having different kind of speedometers and things. We're all looking into it. Sorry,
And we have
JV.
Axel. No, it's okay. We have Axel coming into the chat to
Hello there.
speak.
Can you hear me?
Hello.
Yep, we hear.
Oh, cool.
We can hear you.
So forgive me. I'm an old man and I'm trying to learn new tricks, so just bear with me. But my question is like with the gangs, I'd heard a little bit from somebody, and I was just wondering, like, what I have found, I don't know how to do anything as far as jobs, like, drugs or anything like that in city. And I have found or heard that we were not supposed to be able to work with other gangs to figure these things out. Um, so my question really is that how are we supposed to figure these things kind of out if everybody closes so much information and keeps it to themselves because for certain reasons, obviously. But how are we supposed to figure things out on our own?
When
I
it
think that
comes to
no one ever said that you couldn't talk to gangs about it. Is that's not the intent. But it's like if
Okay.
you're going to want that information from a gang, the gang has to be able to trust you, right? Like how do they know that you're not a police informant? How do
Right,
they
right.
know that you're not going to you don't belong to another gang? So the thing is, it's not don't tell anybody. But if you're new to the city, you got to make those relationships. You got to make some friends. You got to get people to know you, and then you'll start learning things if it comes to crime. I think no gang will ever just come up to a person and be willing to share information that
Well,
could
no,
end
I've
violent.
definitely
Yeah.
been hanging out with people, but it just does seem
Yeah.
like everybody holds the information to themselves, and
Yeah. And
for obvious reasons,
yeah.
and
And
so
I
I
think
just find it really hard for us to even figure out how to even do anything, you know.
and I think
So
a lot of the heists and things that are set up, and you correct me if I'm wrong, they're pretty like intuitive. They're pretty um
no,
they're in
they're
depth.
not.
learn depth. No, I mean the
Oh,
beginning
fuck
ones,
you.
the start ones, the starting ones. I mean
Oh
where
yeah,
you
they're
have to
easy.
work up, right? You have to work up to it. So you can't start at a big crime anyway. If you wanted to, you have to work up to it,
Right.
right?
But
So
everything else as well. When it comes to, let's look at real life gang culture, right?
Yep.
Let's look at X gang and Y gang. X gang is not going to go up to Y gang and say, "Hey, how you making your crack? How you making your cocaine?" Y gang's going to look at X gang and go and tell you where to go. They're going to tell you get fucked.
Right.
Unless you
I
have
was
that,
talking
again,
about, like you can pay for the information or something to that
that's it. Yes,
nature,
there is those
so
there is those means that you could go down, but you got to think about how would it go down in real life? Like again, like you just said, could I pay these people off? Do they
right.
know me well enough to pay off? But then again, going back to Jesse, is this person an informant? Like a cop can just take out a wad of cash and do these things. It's
Yeah,
all,
yeah.
this is the beauty of 5M. It's a sandbox essentially. It's a sandbox of creativity. If you can think it, you can do it. So go out there, talk to some criminals, develop that relationship for them to want to start sharing that information with you. But with the
Okay.
new rules as well, there is the fact of like you can't sit there and produce copious amounts of cocaine together.
Right.
They may
Yeah.
teach you their ways, but then through RP means you're going to then have to find out how am I going to go push that coke. They taught me how to fish. Now I've got to learn how to cook.
Right.
But no, gangs can definitely work together within the means of the rules. Again, I just
Okay.
want to state you're not pushing coke together. You're not all teaming up to fight a gang together.
Right.
The gang leaders were told in the gang meeting what to do, what not to do, and it is up to them to spread that information out. Low end criminals who work on their own don't really need to know those gang rules because they can kind of work anywhere. But when it
Yeah.
comes to the gangs, the gang leaders know, and it's up to the gang leaders to spread that information out.
And think
Okay.
about like just because, you're in an organized crew or gang, like there's a lot of people who are unaffiliated criminals and those are like the perfect people for them to come to you to find out things and you supply them with drugs, right? Like get that distro going. The other thing is with the alliances, I know there was a lot of sort of feedback in the lobby chat, and I just want to quickly address some of the concerns. The intention behind that, right, is so if the gang limit is 15, if you have 3 groups who are in a strong alliance, that is what, 45 people strong. If they were to 3v1 go after another crew, they can be roaming around in those groups of 6, constantly hitting the other people, and it creates this uneven dynamic that doesn't allow anyone else to get a footing. And it really kind of focuses on that sort of W loss mentality that we're trying to avoid with a serious roleplay server. So you can have treaties with other gangs, you can be friends with them, you can go around and do stupid shit and street race and get into those sort of things. We just don't want people actively teaming up so that on all their crimes they always have those tight 6, the people with the most info, and they can just sort of dominate the server, not only other gangs but the PD too. The intention is for you to keep that in-house, but you can still have peace treaties and be friends, hang out and do stuff like that with other people, but within reason, right? Like you shouldn't
Yeah.
be showing all how to do every crime thing just because you have one buddy in another gang, because he's going to go around and tell everyone in his gang how to do everything too, right? Like
Yeah.
really think about the consequences of doing crime with other groups, and that's sort of the intention behind it. And
Yeah,
like
that's
trading
what
information for money and stuff like that, sick RP, please do that.
Okay, cool. Cool.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
thank you so much. And also, because we had that gang meeting and we will be having a gang meeting at least monthly. The goal is bi-weekly, but at least monthly, just to kind of hear out what's going on. But they're all on the same page where they understand they have to select their members carefully because their members are going to reflect on their gang, and now their gang, has to remain in good standing in order for them to have the things that they want to have. So they understand what it means. We're all here for the good RP. So if you get creative with it, you can find information, but it's not going to be up in a channel where you could just read how to do things. That's not what this RP server is for. So you kind of have to, you got to work for it. Your character has to get up and go find it. Do we have any other hands raised at all?
Any questions, comments?
Concerns or emotional outbursts?
No emotional. I'm not dealing with emotional outbursts. I'm out if we're dealing with that. I ain't got the mental capacity to deal with how many people?
Oh my gosh.
52
Okay, we
people in
get
here. Oh my
Time to go to
god.
bed.
we
Yeah.
get enough from Hickory as it is. Come on.
He's
I think
gronking out.
But
He's
at
a
the end of
fucking
the
grog.
day, guys, just again, we appreciate you so much. All your feedback. Anytime you guys open a ticket, even when they're bad, we take that information. We
Calm
just
justice.
take it. We absolutely work with it. We see, okay, what needs to change. If tickets come in with the same thing, something has to change, and we take action. You've seen us definitely take action on things, and we listen to you. So the more you communicate with us, the more that we can, the better we can be for you. So, don't just go around complaining. If you've never ever asked us for something or talked to us about it, you really don't have anything to stand on to complain. But if we were mean to you, of course, go ahead and complain. And tell whoever. But thank you just for all the support, the communication. This is an amazing community. I could not say it enough. Um, and I'm excited of where this is going. Anybody else
Re-
want to?
really quickly,
We
I
got
have
justice up here too.
tested. Hello,
Yeah.
Hello,
can
Si.
you hear me?
Hi,
Yeah.
Oh,
Sal.
I just tested all the selling, just to make sure it's good at like 4 different areas in the city, and it's all working fine. So you just need to figure out how to do it.
Right, we got justice up here as well. What up, Baton?
What happening over here? Where am I? Why the hell this
No,
room so dark? Is that you, Archie?
Hello, mate.
Get out of my ass.
what?
Anyway, yeah. Just relating to the bail system, just an update there. It's going to be the intention of the Department of Justice to ensure that all the guys who are doing guilty pleas sort of do a train on each other, one after each other in the courtroom. And that way we get to send everybody to prison together, which will stop people from being bored. So please just look at the scheduling within the Department of Justice Public Library or at City Hall for court dates and times. It'll be mostly weekends and peak hour times during the weekdays. So we'll get like 5 to 10 people going up to prison together to go and hold each other's pockets, and we'll see who the winner is at the end of the day. Number two, with the bail system coming in, you're going to have a choice to make. Don't blame us if you suck yourself into that system. It's a choice that you make, not us. Be aware of what the times and fines are for the crime you are to commit. Go and look at the Constitution, go look at the Penal Code. It's available to everybody. That is all. Now get me out of here.
Thank you. And like you
Can't,
said,
can't.
the Constitution is public. You guys can read it at any time. The Penal Code is up for you guys to read. New legislation, it's posted up for you guys to read. Any information about how this city runs, what is allowed, what is not allowed, what is legal and not legal, it's all there for you guys. All you gotta do is read. And again, last thing is thank you. Anybody else? And then we're all good for today. Go enjoy the city. Be patient with us with the
We got one
tickets.
more.
Please look at the bug board before you open a ticket because it might already be addressed in the bug board. If it is on the
Jesse,
bug
hold
board
on.
and you haven't gotten an answer for it, it means that we're still working on it. But just first go to the bug board. If it's not there, open a ticket. If it's an exploit, open a ticket. Do not put that in the bug board. Go ahead, guys.
I have one thing
Jesse,
on the bug board thing. Uh,
can I first do one about
Yes.
the
yeah, go ahead.
Constitution stuff and whatever? Because that one
Yes.
is a little bit important. Guys, there's one thing that I have seen happening previously, and it pops in very easily. I know about it. You have access to the Constitution, you do have access to the penal codes, understandable. But if you're a criminal and you're in jail, I do not expect you to fully know the Constitution and know that each and everything that should be in the law book. Please role play it out. Either have a valid reason why you know those things, or just roll with it and get a lawyer. Because the lawyers need that thing, and it would not be a good thing if a criminal knows the exact law book. Sorry.
Yes. Be realistic with your role play. And yes, ask for lawyers. We have
Yes.
amazing lawyers and new lawyers. If you ever wondered what it's like to be a lawyer, go to ask the DOJ. They're happy to show you there. It's not really a hard rule. It's just you gotta just want to be a lawyer, want to defend people, or want to put people in jail. Up to you. And yes, please be kind to your mechanics. It is not their fault that things are not working. They have nothing to do with it. They're just trying to work as best they can with what they have right now. We're still looking at the kinks of stuff, so be kind to them, be patient with them. They're not trying to, swindle you in any way. Just, remember that we're all trying to do our little RP the best we can with what we have. So just give everybody a little bit of grace.
Killian, mate.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Wait, can everyone hear me?
Yep.
Yep,
We'll get
yep.
him out of the way,
All right, cool,
Bryce, and
cool.
then
Thank
we'll
you,
get
thank
your
you.
dev board stuff.
I was just curious. It's not very important. First of all, I was wondering if down the road there was any plan for allowing people to customize their business, just like on a decorative level. I know you can't probably change like the entire building itself, but adding decorations and activities like pool tables, stuff like that.
That'd be when Dynasty 8 comes in. They'd have that ability for you guys.
Oh, okay. They
Yeah,
customize
it's
the
with Dynasty 8.
businesses too, not just
They'll
apartments and
give
all that.
you they'll give you the ability to put in furniture yourself, purchase and put in decorations and stuff yourself.
Amazing, thank
Yeah,
you. And
so that's with
then
Dynasty 8.
one more really quick question. I assume that you have a plan for gambling because of the casinos. Has there been an update on that I've missed, or do we know what's going on with that? Time frame wise, like is there gonna gambling coming soon or
I can't you gamble at the casino right now?
Yep.
maybe I just did it wrong when I went there. It maxed me out at like 20 chips or something. Is that intentional?
No, you can gamble. I know because Priya gambles way too much. That's maybe you're just getting the daily visitor bonus. But you can exchange chips at the front cashier, and then there's tables in the back.
Okay, so yeah, that's on me then. I was just stupid then, I guess. And then I
Use the
guess
casino. It's so fun. It's so fun to have
piggyback and
conversations
yeah, I'm
there.
gonna go check
Gamble.
that out now. I didn't know that it was functional. It's my bad.
Yeah, there's
And
actually other tables that will be turning back on once we get them fixed, and then the wheel, I forgot what it's called, whatever the big wheel is. Um, Once we get the new um, texture painted on it, then that will be live again. And now that the old horse racing track is back and we have horses, we're going to be looking at horse racing, betting, and stuff like that too.
awesome. And piggybacking off of that, do you intend to ever let anybody have their own poker table? Like if we wanted to have like a behind the scenes, like illegal gambling, in the top of floor of a business or something, is that possible, or would that fuck things up?
Anything's possible, but that would be a little bit more down the road after we open.
Gotcha. Okay, I think that's all I had. I was just curious. Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you. We good now? Anybody else?
Bryce had something to say in regards to the dev board stuff.
Yes. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I just want to, in regards to the bug board, I know that there are a lot of people in the community that contribute to reporting bugs. Just want to say you're a huge help. We appreciate it. It helps us out immensely because all of us test what's going out. But there's no way we can test every single instance. So please feel free to continue submitting bug reports, reading if there's already current reports of issues. If I've not responded or closed the ticket, I'm either probably working or um, I'm researching or trying to figure out if trying to recreate it. So please keep reporting bugs as you see them. Exploits go in tickets, not in the bug reports. And if we do close the ticket, that means that it's been moved over to the dev board and it's going to be addressed. So check in the change logs. And I do check the bug board periodically throughout the day. So I'm not there 100% of the time, but I do check in several times a day. So thanks, everybody.
Really quick, I have a
Well,
question for the hunters and fishers or fishermen, fisher people, and actually the city jobs, lumberjacking, stuff like that. Everything except for trucking. Maybe I missed it because I missed a few minutes in here, but what have people said, or maybe you guys can tell us what the general consensus is? Do those jobs, the fishing and the hunting, does that seem like it's at a point where it's okay to do? Nobody's buying mansions with it, but just as a hobby, if anybody has anything to say.
While everybody's typing, just to follow up on what Bryce said, Sai gets really mad at us when we have more than one thing per ticket. So please, y'all, when we close your tickets, it's not because we don't want to hear from you. If you have other issues, open more tickets. Open as many tickets as you would like.
And don't get upset if your ticket is closed, because if you don't respond within 24 hours, we're just gonna assume that you're good, and we're gonna start closing them. Cause yeah, Sai gets really mad at us, and we get all scared. Please don't get upset. We're gonna do that
He doesn't
now.
get
Also,
upset.
just
He
a
doesn't
there's
get
just a lot of tickets too. A lot of the time, it's hard to
Yeah.
organize because you got some for management, some are rule breaks, some are general dev stuff. So it's just the more we can clean it up, the more efficient work gets done.
Also, if you have like dev-related issues or bug issues, if you can please give us a screenshot of your F8 for any error messages, post any screenshots, send us metal clips, Twitch clips, tell us how to recreate the issue. That would be great.
Jesse,
Okay.
I'm gonna need you to
Yeah.
give me the rundown on what just like the last 20 minutes. I literally had to break into my sister's car just to get the dogs out. She locked her dogs in a car. The dogs locked themselves in the car. I've been
Hickory the hero.
fighting. I've been fighting dogs for 20 minutes.
Okay, I'll give you the
No
rundown.
longer a coward. Now you're a
Our,
hero.
our meeting ends with the harrowing tale of Hickory the hero.
No,
Good
no,
night,
no one.
guys.
No.
Thank you for your time. We really appreciate
Coin
you.
City. Let's have some fun.
Night,
Let's go
guys.
enjoy the new updates. See you in there. Bye.
Go, go.
Guys.
Bye bye.
Hey,
See you
what?
soon.
Oh, they
Don't
fucking
forget
left.
to write.
Fucking damn it.
They left. They're gone.
Hickory, I'll
So
listen to your story. Okay, go ahead, start.
no, who's so my sister runs in my room, fucking like hyperventilating, and I was like, "What's wrong?" She's like, I'm about to leave to dad's, and the dogs just locked themselves in the damn car." And I was like, "What do you mean?" And my keys, my phone are in the car. I'm like, "Well, how the fuck have you done that?" And she's like, "I didn't do it. The dogs did it." And I was like, "Fuck's sake!" I had to go down there, near fucking pry the damn door open, fucking like dogs click the fucking lock. It took 20 minutes for these little rodent dogs to fucking pick the lock back. I was crashing out. I nearly broke the window. Oh my god. I had to go and eat after that. I was feeling quite violent.
Awesome, awesome story. Thank you.